What are we looking for in your assessment? If you've listened to the previous sections, you'll find that everything is about application underpinned with theory. So what we're not actually looking for is an assessment that is just full of a theoretical and a mind dump on all the theory. What we're actually looking at is you taking your organisation. Now, one thing you might find particularly challenging is a number of you will be working for small to medium-sized enterprises. So you might think, well, actually, I can't implement change, or I'm not allowed to change the strategy. In that case, take a blank sheet of paper and think, well, if I could, what would it be that I do with the resources that I've got and with the decision making that I've got? It's very much a work-based assessment. This is something new, but this is something that's going to give you the skills to actually then be able to implement things within your own organisation. But it certainly requires critical thinking. Any decisions that are made have to be justified. There has to be a rationale. It's not simply, well, I want to do this because I think it's good. There has to be some kind of reiteration as to why you're doing it, why you're implementing something. So it's practically led, not essay led, but it needs to be underpinned with theory. So if you find an author that backs up what you're saying, let's have the quote, let's have the reference for it. It requires an analysis of internal factors and external factors of the organisation. So you might undertake a strategic audit that actually looks at the external factors affecting the organisation. But here at postgraduate level, we want you to look at the internal factors because they are not something separate. They integrate and they have an impact on each other. The other key part of this assessment is going to be marketing planning. We need a practical application of the marketing plan. We want you to write the plan, but you have to write it as though you're going to go in there and you're going to actually get people on board within your organisation. This might mean change. This might mean a new way of thinking. But what it certainly will require is critical thinking. It requires you to actually look at your other units that you've done within this framework and build on that knowledge. So it's not just a case, oh, marketing planning is section so of this unit. That's the bit I'm going to look at. Every bit of this unit builds on each other. So when you're writing a marketing plan, you're taking a holistic view, looking at it overall and looking at the strategic implications of it to the organisation. And this will require students to actually sort of take different parts of the syllabus and bring it together in a coherent marketing plan. And we're hoping in most of the assessments we'll have a self-reflection where you can actually reflect on your skills, on your knowledge. So you might be given an example of you have to lead change within your organisation. How would you do it? But where you're self-reflecting is we may ask you to think about, as the person in charge of change, how are your leadership skills going to impact that change? And this is something quite different. You're having to look at yourself. How do you fit within the organisation? How do your practical skills fit within the organisation? And here you're thinking about change management. So there you're thinking about the theoretical underpinnings. You know, this is what the journal articles say. This is what the textbooks say. But how does it actually impact when I'm doing it within the organisation? So it's very much practically led with theoretical underpinnings, but it's very much critical thinking. Anything that you're recommending, can you justify it? Can you give a rationale to it? And if you can, then you know that you've got a coherent argument that's not only in assessment form, but it can be taken out of the assessment form and taken to a board of directors within your organisation and presented to them.